So let's talk about cybersecurity. For the longest time, we've been building fortresses. But what happens when the fight isn't at the gates anymore? What if it's already inside the walls? Today, we're going beyond that old school perimeter to explore how to reinforce our defenses for a world where, honestly, trust is no longer a given.
Look, you've probably spent a lot of time and money on layered security, right? Building this virtual fortress with a super strong perimeter. But think about it. Your team is everywhere now, working from home, coffee shops, you name it. They're using a zillion cloud apps. And the attackers, well, they're getting smarter every single day. So you gotta ask yourself, is that old fortress model really enough anymore? To really get this, we have to look back at the playbook we've been using for years. For decades, really. The gold standard for network security has been this idea called defense in depth.
Defense in depth. It's all about stacking your defenses, right? Kind of like a medieval castle. You've got your firewalls, those are the huge outer walls. Then you've got monitoring systems, which are like the guards patrolling the ramparts. Endpoint tools, those are the sentries posted on every single device. And then you have your strict policies. Those are basically the laws of the land. The whole idea is just to make it as hard as humanly possible for an attacker to get to the good stuff, the crown jewels.
But, and this is the big but, the whole game has changed. The threats we're up against today, they are not the same ones this castle was built to stop.
The hard truth is attackers got smart. They've studied our defenses, they know our playbook, and they've figured out how to get around them, one layer at a time. They're not just trying to bash down the front gate anymore. No, they're looking for that one unlocked window, a forgotten tunnel, maybe even tricking an insider to just let them in. And here's the real problem. Once they get past that first wall, the path to your most sensitive data can be wide open.
And that's why just building higher walls isn't going to cut it. We need a totally different way of thinking. We have to shift from a model that just trusts people by default once they're inside to a model that, well, trusts nobody. And this new way of thinking, it's called zero trust. This is it. This is the mantra, the absolute core idea of the entire zero trust philosophy. It's so simple, but it changes everything. Just listen to it. Never trust, always verify. Okay, so what does that actually look like? A zero trust architecture, or ZTA, basically throws out that old-fashioned idea of a trusted internal network. It just assumes that nowhere is safe, not inside, not outside. So by default, access is denied, period. To get in, you have to prove three things: who you are, that your device is healthy, and that you have explicit permission for the exact thing you're trying to get. It all starts with every single user. I don't care if you're the CEO or a brand new intern, whether you're in the head office or at a Starbucks. Before you can touch anything, we have to know for sure who you are. Next up, every single device, your company laptop, your personal phone, a server humming away in the cloud, it doesn't matter. Each one has to prove it's healthy, it's patched, and it's secure before it gets to connect to, well, anything. And finally, and this is key, every single request. So every single time a verified user on a healthy device tries to access an app or some data, that specific request is checked and authorized every single time. There are no free passes here. Okay, this slide right here is perfect for making this whole thing click. Think about it like this. Defense in depth, the old way, is like having a house with a crazy secure front door. I'm talking multiple locks, an alarm system, a steel frame, the whole 9 yards. But once you're inside, you can go wherever you want. Zero trust, totally different. It's like having a security checkpoint at the door to every single room inside that house. And that right there shows you the real magic. In the old model, a burglar gets in the front door and they can just wander around looking for valuables. But with zero trust, even if they manage to get into the living room, the doors to the bedroom, the home office, they're still locks tight. The breach is contained. This is huge because it stops something called lateral movement. That's when an attacker moves around freely inside your network. Stopping that is absolutely critical. So when we adopt this new mindset, how does it actually change things? Well, it means we're moving away from just guarding a perimeter. Instead, we're actively reinforcing our entire organization for the way threats actually work today. The result? A much, much smaller blast radius. And what that means is the total damage a single breach can cause is drastically reduced. See, by shrinking who you trust and what they can access down to the bare minimum for any given task, you automatically shrink the impact if something goes wrong. An attacker might get into one system, but they can't go anywhere else. They're stuck. The damage is contained.
So here's the big takeaway. Zero trust doesn't replace defense in depth, it reinforces it. Think about it. Your castle walls are still important, for sure. But now you also have smart, dynamic security inside every single room. Your foundational protection gets a major upgrade with a modern, resilient architecture. One protects you, the other reinforces you.
And that brings us right back to where we started. It's not just about having layers of defense anymore. It's about whether those layers are truly reinforced for what's coming next. So, is your security built on an old foundation of simple trust, or is it built on the resilient, verifiable principles you're going to need for the challenges ahead?